Hello everyone and welcome to the part 2 of the trading challenge between me and Chat GPT. So we had the part 1. Chat GPT had quite amazing results. I was in a little bit of a drawdown, but that was only 30 days of trading. And in 30 days, you cannot really determine if your strategy has an edge or not. So I wanted to continue the testing. I wanted to make it 90 days and see how Chat GPT does. How this experiment works is basically every single day at noon, I go to Chat GPT, I check out the trades on Tradingview, and I give instructions to Chat GPT to adjust its positions. Also, another rule is 2 trades per day maximum. So 1 trade must be on the S&P 500 and 1 trade must be on a major currency pair. I thought that made things pretty interesting because then we can compare the performance on the stock market and the performance on the currency market. One more thing I did for this part 2 is I tested Grok AI. So that is the AI software from Twitter. My main question was, if ChatGPT was so successful, can other artificial intelligence software replicate those good results? And of course, in the background, I was trading my personal strategies. So at the end of the video, we can compare my results to Grok AI and to ChatGPT. Here is the trade journal from Grok. So these are the results. I only tested for 1 month, so from July 8th to August 8th, because the results were pretty bad. So this is really interesting that Grok made minus 8.12% in this testing period. Most of the trades that Grok took were a loss. Again, 39 trades. As you can see, same sort of rules applied. 1 trade on the S&P 500, 1 trade on a major currency pair. So these are the trades, and it's mostly losses, unfortunately, mostly minus 1%. And also one more rule, so I risked 1% on every single position. If we check out Tradingview, here is the trade history of Grok on the S&P 500. So yeah, mostly red days, unfortunately. A couple of winners here and there, but during all of this uptrend, Grok decided to go short on the S&P 500, which doesn't really make sense. You have a much better edge, you have a much bigger edge if you just buy and hold. You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go short. The stop loss size was okay, so it was not too tight. I think it gave enough breathing room for the S&P to move. I just don't like the approach with shorting the S&P. So we do have a couple of currencies. We have USD CAD, we have Aussie dollar. So these were all just a couple of positions. Maybe we can take a look at the pound USD and then go to, let's say, here. So yeah, we have a couple of trades on the pound. Some of them worked out. Actually, on the pound, looks like Grok actually made some money, but we can check out the euro dollar as well. Yeah, a couple of trades. Here, a short. So it looks like maybe on currencies, it did a bit better. And if I filter for all of the trades that are currency trades, so this is the filter, not S&P 500, you can see negative 0.21%. So still, Grok could not make percentage. It's around break even for currencies, and then if you put in the S&P, by shorting the S&P during the uptrend, it's pretty crazy. It is down minus 8.12%. So I don't see a point in continuing with the experiment, because if you make minus 8.12% in 1 month, your strategy is pretty bad. So if you apply this to prop firms, you're not gonna do well. That is why I just decided to stop testing Grok completely. And now for the moment that you have all been waiting for, Chat GPT trades. So here they are. The percentage is plus 24.33%. This is crazy. This is quite literally an amazing strategy so far. So the experiment started on June 4th. And I'm still doing it. I'm still testing it. Today is the 11th of September, and I just took a buy on the S&P 500. You can see the rationale. So the S&P is extended after a strong run, overbought short-term oscillators plus resistance. Risk to reward gives us 1.8 to 1. So that is the latest trade that ChatGPT took. If we filter for all of the trades that are not the S&P 500, it's still quite healthy. Plus 11.33% on currencies. So that means it's around 50-50. As you can see, total percentage 24.33, So yeah, 50% of the percentage is coming from currencies and 50% is coming from the stock market. So guys, if you're looking for a trade copier that supports MetaTrader, I want to talk to you about today's sponsor, which is Social Trader Tools. I have been using Traders Connect for a long time, but recently they stopped supporting MetaTrader. I'm not sure what happened. Apparently they used a way of copying trades that was not allowed on MetaTrader, so they had to stop supporting MetaTrader, which was a big hit on my account since I'm heavily using MetaTrader. So I have switched to Social Trader Tools. They offer full support of MetaTrader. I have set up my accounts. They are fast, they are reliable. So if you want to save yourself some time, if you want to copy your trades from your master account to your prop firm accounts, make sure you check out the link in the description of this video and take a look at Social Trader Tools. Now let's go through the Tradingview Chat GPT trades. So here they are. This is the S&P. We have quite a big list. Again, I've taken a lot of trades in the last 3 months, but looks like every single time, or not every single time, but most of the time, ChatGPT makes the right decision. So it was shorting during this slowdown, during this flat period, and then it went long. So quite good decisions. Here, nice fat winner. Here again, here nice short. Again, a good short. So what is super interesting with this approach, and today's trade is another short. What is super interesting is it is extremely hard to go long and short the S&P. Especially going short. The uptrend on the S&P is so strong that it's extremely hard to know when a pullback will happen. For some reason, ChatGPT is very successful in spotting these pullbacks. So here is one example, second example, and now we have a third potentially winner if the S&P does decide to go lower. Here is another example of going short. Here another one. So pretty successful trades. I'm not sure about the reasoning. I'm not sure how ChatGPT comes up with these trade ideas. So I can see the rationale. It gives you a couple of sentences of why it takes a specific trade, but it's just a couple of simple points. So you're not sure why it made these trading decisions. So we can take a look at some other popular Forex pairs. We can check out the pound dollar, a couple of trades, 2 winners actually. We can check out the euro dollar. Let's see. So yeah, a couple of trades, and again, a couple of buys, another buy, then a sell that lost, Aussie dollar. So nice fat winner on the Aussie dollar. Current trade I'm in, GBPJPY, looks like it's going to be a loss. So GBPJPY looks to be going up and looks to be pretty close to the stop loss. So we will see what will happen. But maybe this can still turn and hit take profit. So basically what I'm doing is every single day at noon, as I mentioned, I look at TradingView. And if the 2 trades that ChatGPT has, if one of them or both of them have been stopped out or hit the take profit, I go to ChatGPT for new trades. So this is actually Grok for Grok's trades, but ChatGPT is here. So this was actually for today. SPX got taken out for a win. GJ price is this and this. What do you want to do? And then I told ChatGPT, give me a new trade for SPX. And I told him the current price, because that is one of the main issues, both with Grok and ChatGPT. They can't seem to get the most recent price. It's such a big problem. I don't know why. It has all of the internet at its disposal. It has all of these crazy trade ideas, but it cannot get the most recent price. So every single time I must personally check the recent price on TradingView and type it in. Otherwise, it's going to mess up the levels. So yeah, basically what happened today, SPX got taken out for a win. So I told ChatGPT, give me a new trade. I'm now in a new setup. GJ is still running and ChatGPT decided to keep holding the trade. So here, my move, I'll continue holding GJ short. We're still under the stop and the reward to risk remains intact. The end crosses are stretched, and if risk sentiment cools, GJ could snap lower. One thing I also wanted to show you, so this is the Notion application and they have added charts, which is pretty amazing. So this is the equity curve for ChatGPT. I didn't do the same thing for Grok because it's just mostly losses, so it doesn't really make sense. But here for ChatGPT, this is a great equity curve. I mean, this is 3 months of trading. This is not like just 1 week. This is not even 30 days. It is 90 days. And I believe a 90-day sample size is pretty good. What would be even better would be, let's say, 6 months or maybe even a year. That is why I will continue testing. But what you can clearly see from this chart, there is only one drawdown period that was kind of big from, what is this? Let's see, July 31st to August 5th. So just a couple of days of drawdown. Otherwise, it is just smooth sailing to the upside. And here it's a bit flat, I'll have to admit. So here from June 19th to, let's say, July 1st, it's kind of flat in terms of the equity. But there's no huge spikes lower. It's mostly just trucking to the upside. I told you we were going to compare my results to Chat GPT. So here is my performance from June 4th, minus 2.44% on my IC markets account. So not the best performance. I'm in some drawdown. I do still have 2 active trades. I have Euro GBP and I have a USD CAD long, which is going pretty good. So I haven't put it in here yet. So these are the ones I have running. Euro GBP long around break even and USD CAD starting to push higher. So we will see, but my performance is definitely not the best during this period. It's a bit of a dry spell. It happens, it's part of the game. Right now, the percentage difference is around 26%. I'm down minus 2.44 and Chat GPT is up plus 24.33%. Now, what I also mentioned is that I'm gonna open a prop firm challenge and use Chat GPT to trade. But actually, I'm not sure if I want to do that. I don't have a lot of confidence, if I'm being honest. The main issue is, for Grok, you got a huge explanation of why it took specific trades. So I kind of can get behind this. I can put real money behind this rationale because I can see everything listed here in a huge amount of text. Well, the problem is Grok didn't make any money, so I cannot use Grok. ChatGPT lately decided to focus on only technical analysis, as far as I noticed from all the trade reasoning. So I told ChatGPT at the beginning, use everything basically, use fundamentals, sentiment, technicals, seasonality. But lately it just started to focus on technical analysis. And the funny part is, it is super correct. So it gets most trades right. So that is a problem. I don't have a lot of confidence in this reasoning. This may still be a very lucky period. And also the question is, can you replicate these results? So if you talk to your ChatGPT and you give the same instructions, would you get the same results? That would be interesting to test. And if you would get completely opposite results or different trade ideas, then you also cannot really rely on ChatGPT. So that's my main concern. Is this a lucky period? So what is good is the positive reward to risk. As you can see, the take profit is in most cases bigger than the stop loss, and that is exactly what you want to see. So if you're trading a market like the S&P 500 and you're mostly buying and your take profit is bigger than the stop loss, you have a pretty good edge. But I have trouble putting my money into this sort of black box where you don't know what is going on in the background. So I don't have the confidence yet to put the real money behind this experiment. What could be fun is spending, let's say, 250 or 300 euros on a prop firm challenge and then trying to do the prop firm challenge with ChatGPT. So I'm going to think about doing that, and I will continue my testing to get an even bigger sample size. The goal would be at least 6 months. If I can do this for a year, then that would be a really, really good experiment. Also, as I mentioned, if you're gonna do this experiment on your own, you need to update the current prices every single day. So if ChatGPT gives you new trades, in most cases, you need to adjust the level of the current price because for some reason it just cannot get access to the current price level. I'm not sure what is so hard about getting the current price, but both ChatGPT and Grok have had issues with acquiring the latest price, so they're building essentially the wrong trade idea. There has been cases where ChatGPT gave me a trade idea that is so outdated in terms of the price, where the price would have already hit the take profit, if that makes sense. So those moments make you question the reasoning behind taking specific setups, and just trusting a black box is really, really hard. So that would be it for this part 2. If you want to watch the part 1, I will link it somewhere in this video. And the summary would be, so I tested Grok for 30 days, got into massive drawdown, minus 8%. I did 90 days with ChatGPT. Great results, great equity curve, minimal drawdown, plus 24% and running. So the results have been really, really interesting. My main goal with starting this challenge or this experiment was to see if I can apply artificial intelligence to execute trades for me. So that I basically don't have to do any work, but I can just execute what Chat GPT tells me to do. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video if you want to see the part 3 of this series. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.